clients today, and both of them were petrified of being arrested.
EMEL ERSAN's worked as an immigration attorney for 3 decades. We first sat down with ERSAN after Trump's 2024 victory. Then she believed undocumented, violent criminals would be at the top of the list. Now she calls it a deportation machine, coming after anyone who is undocumented. Would you advise your clients to hide out as long as they could?
I wouldn't. You have absolutely no power. We talk about procedural rights. Yeah, when you have already a deportation order, you have no procedural rights left. So basically, you're immigration meat. They could just grab you and take you. You don't even have the right to a lawyer or a hearing. So now what that means is that they can detain you for months and months. Now, if you continue asking for the relief that you want, then the government says, okay, stay in jail and wait for us to call you. So now you could be in detention for years before you're called. That's not plausible. Like, I had an Albanian lady. She was 65 years old. She had a deportation from 30 years ago. I begged her not to apply for a green card that she wanted to through her now adult child. And she said, no, they wouldn't deport me just because I have a deportation order from 30 years. And I said, no, I don't recommend it. But she did it. Within a week, her daughter was crying in my waiting room, telling me that they picked up her mother. I talked to the deportation officers and I said, come on, guys, what are you doing now? Picking up 65-year-old grannies, like no criminal record, deportation order from 30 years ago, like you have nobody else to pick up? And he basically said, well, she applied for something with immigration and we saw that she had an underlying deportation order, so he went and picked her up.
Is there a legal way to look at it through a humanitarian lens?
So there's no humanitarian relief. So, you could cry all day and say, my daughter has cancer, I don't have any money, they don't care. It's really a shame. I think that these immigrants are a victim of previous administrations just basically not following the law, because Trump hasn't changed any of the laws. Congress has not enacted any new laws. They're just basically implementing what they refused to implement before. And of course, that was to the detriment of immigrants as well, because they came in here with all these hopes of asylum, work cards. They got showered with all these legal benefits that they thought were going to end up in some legalization. But it turns out that it was just built on a house of cards, because asylum is hard to win. It's very difficult to win asylum.
Tiene que ser fuerte para los